Recently, a student music producer of mine sent me one of his songs for feedback, and this is what he sent me. Nice, we got energy. I asked him, what are some things you've been struggling with? He mentioned things like getting a clear mix, his song lacks color, or overall has a dullness or fuzziness to it. Well, the good news is he has a nice track here with some really good energy, and I think this would make a great mixing lesson. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you as well as my student how I would mix this piece of music here. We'll increase the clarity sound by sound and make it sound nice and polished. Make sure to stay till the end of this video where I reveal the final product to my student. So let's do a nice little mix down. When we play this back, I'm just not getting the clarity on his main vocal. Listen for this sound when it plays in the mix. We really can't even hear that vocal, and the vocal should be crystal clear. When I solo the bass, it sounds awesome and it's huge. But when we look at it under stereo imager, that is way too wide for a bass. Yes, it sounds cool right now when we play it alone, but if you have a bass that takes up that much room in a mix, we will never be able to get this song as loud or as tight as songs from all the pros. One more thing we're going to have to work on are these drums. There's just not enough clarity in those drums. These drums should be dominating this song, and they just sound like they're covered up by all the other instruments. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is manage this bass. So this bass looks like an audio loop of some sort, and it's a very high unison bass. That allows it to be really wide like this. Now, aside from being wide, the other issue with this bass is that it is random. If you look at all of the triggers of this bass, some triggers lean more into the left ear, other triggers lean into the right ear. You can't have a bass that does that because it will not sound good on all speakers. Also, a bass that triggers too randomly in the left and right ear will take up way too much headroom and we'll never be able to get this song loud. So the first thing I like to do with a bass like this is reduce randomness. So because this is a repetitive bass, I'll be able to take a nice sounding segment of this bass line and I'm just going to repeat it. Just that alone will reduce randomness. And if I play it back with my kick, it sounds pretty good. Now if you can hear the difference, if we take the original bass and play it with the kick, again, we might still perceive it as sounding good because it's nice and big and wide, but it's still a little too random and won't hold the song together like we want it to. So next thing we have to do is analyze the sub bass. So this bass sound has the sub bass kind of baked into it. I'm going to add an equalizer here. I'm going to press play and just filter everything out so we could just focus on the sub bass. And my lord, does that sound good. The problems start though once we take a closer look. Here's an imager plugin and it's telling us that our sub bass is all over the place. It's wide. It's too wide. Your sub bass, although it sounds cool wide, cannot be wide. This will never translate to all the speaker systems and club speakers out there. It'll also significantly reduce headroom and we won't be able to get our song loud. So what we have to do with sub bass is find a way to just make the sub bass narrow. A narrow sub bass will sound stronger in relation to the rest of the song. So to make just the sub bass portion of this sound narrow, I'm going to need two EQs. One EQ will be my normal EQ, and the other EQ, we're going to set its processing to side only. In every DAW, you're able to set your EQ to side only, except FL Studio. So what I'm gonna do now is take the normal EQ and just focus on the sub bass so we can manage it. And then I'm gonna go into the side only EQ, which only manages the sides of the sound, the wideness of the sound. And we're gonna cut out everything below the sub bass frequency range. I'm taking away all of the wide information that is below 100 Hertz. And now if we look at just the sub bass of our bass, it's going to be significantly more narrow. Oh, that is like a heartbeat. What a cool sound. Now that's one way we can run the bass, and I'll save that in the project. The other way that I would prefer is to just take an equalizer, reduce the sub frequencies in his bass, and replace his sub bass with a cleaner sub bass. Or in other words, layer it. My issue with the existing sub bass is that there's artifacts like reverb and delay baked into it. This isn't a bad thing, but these things can take away from headroom and clarity. I'm going to use Serum 1, X for Serum, to make this bass sound. We're going to turn off the oscillator, turn on the sub oscillator, and we're going to make a plucked sub bass sound that matches the profile of his existing bass. If we play it, it's pure sub bass, so we can barely hear it. I'm going to go into the audio effects and add distortion just so we can hear what we're doing. And then all I'm going to do is mimic the rhythm of his bass. So let's find the note first. La. It's that note. This octave. So it sounds like dun 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 dun, which is a nice dotted eighth rhythm. We get that nice sub bass layer. You don't even know it's there, you just feel it. That's what I like about a pure sine wave. Doesn't sound as raw and mean as his rumbly sub bass, but when we mix this sub bass into the rest of the song, my student will be happy that we could actually make the rest of the song clear and loud, which is what he was struggling with. And I know this is dragging on at this point, but two last finishing touches I'm going to add to this bass is a little bit of OTT. Add a little bit of fierceness, and I'm going to make it slightly less wide. A wide, high, or mid-frequency bass like this one is perfectly okay, but you still want to focus most of its volume toward the center of the mix. You don't want it to be too wide, or else the bass will just over-dominate the rest of the song. Now both these basses are sidechained to the kick. Oh, it just sounds like a machine. Let's go. That sounds amazing. Okay, so after the first main instrument is managed, in this case it's the bass, I think the easiest path to a really solid mix is just keep the bass soloed and bring in the synths and the vocals one by one. We'll leave the drums muted for now and we'll do those last. So just bring in instrument by instrument. We'll start with these flutters. And do your best job just to get the balancing right. And just like that, you bring in instrument by instrument. Let's go to these chords. And so that's the volume position of each of the instruments. Now we have to figure out the stereo position of each of the instruments. A good rule of thumb is that if all the instruments are wide, nothing will sound wide. So we need to have a good mix of instruments that are narrow in order for some instruments to sound really wide. And I think what I'm going to try first is to make the vocals more center heavy. So right now we can see that flutter is really wide. I'm going to use this free plugin called Ozone Imager and just focus it more toward the center. And we're not going exacto. You don't have to do that, although you can. You're just trying to focus it somewhere. Now let's go to this little vocal here. just so it sounds like it's in a generally the same area as this flutter. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm just going to try it and see what happens. We can always change it later. So now we have our bass, which is center heavy. We have our vocals, which are focused more toward the center. I think we'll get a really satisfying sound if we take the chords and just make them super wide. Let's try it. This is where the engineer side of you can become an artist, because only you can control this. So if we play our chords, they're already really wide in the stereo imager. So I'm not gonna force them any wider. You can just bring them in so that they float in the background of everything. And one more thing I'm gonna do with these chords. Our bass has a lot of information here. It has a lot of noise that hits that 200 hertz range because it's a very big bass. What I can do is just move these chords away from that bass slightly. The chords aren't a dominant factor in this type of song, so we really don't need them to be the loudest things possible. We want the bass and the leads in a song like this and the drums to be the most frontal, clear elements. All right, let's hit these drums. I always go kick first and manage it in reference to the bass. We don't need all this high frequency stuff. In a kick like this, we can kind of just blend it into the bass a little bit by reducing the high frequencies. He has these 16th note hi-hats that are a little bit quiet. 16th note hi-hats make a bass like this, a rumbling, moving bass. They just make it come to life so hard. If we look at his drums under an imager, look how narrow they are. Now this is kind of cool. You can have drums that do that. A lot of tech house and techno songs do that. However, I think we could take this 16th note hi-hat, add what's called a sample delay. We can make these wide, and it'll just add so much energy to this bass. Listen to just that. Ooh. Now let's listen to just our drums and bass versus this Anima song. Here's ours. Here's Anima. Back to ours. We have more energy than Anima. Maybe. That's what a crystal clear mix should sound like. So now if we combine all the instruments and we compare to some professional mixes, we'll start with the Anima track and jump back and forth between ours and Anima. Here's Anima. Ooh. Our drums and bass just smack. That's a pretty damn close mix. Here it is, the grand reveal. Alright. Can you hear it? Let's listen to the clarity. And now if we compare back to your original for the same section. What are some differences you hear?
I hear more upper end clarity, I feel like.
Yes.
I feel like yours is less muddy too.
Yes, just managing all the looseness in the bass, I was able to increase the upper end clarity. With mixing, it's weird. Clarity comes from the other instruments So if you're listening to your high-end stuff, your drums, your hi-hats, your vocals, a lot of the time the management doesn't have to come from those things. It comes from all the other things in the mix. So your bass, it was taking up a lot of room. Let's listen to your original bass again. Hear how it's really wide and it's very loose.
Yeah.
It's very bulky. If we can manage that, focus things toward better positions, we can create a lot of room for other instruments in the mix. Now listen to your song compared to this Anima track. Listen how good your sounds up against it. Listen to your drums and bass. What do you think? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Love that shit.